Hello, people, and welcome to how to turn a 10-year-old PC, like cheap PC, into a moderate or light-end gaming station. Now, I already took all this apart, and I wasn't going to make a video, but I figured I wanted to show my friends how easy it is, because I never went to a class for this. I never got taught. I'm learning as I go over the internet on my phone. Just looking things up and networking on Facebook, asking people questions. And this is what I managed to come up with. For so far, just over $100, but that means no tower, because this tower is too small to house my upgraded computer. That's not the upgrade, that's the original hardware. But this was a HP Pavilion slimline. It was a S3700Y. I don't know how much it went for back in 2008, but we got this computer, a wireless printer, monitor, keyboard, mouse, everything but the speakers. Less than 50 bucks, like 5 years ago. Thing's junk now, it runs so slow. Costs more money to get fixed than it's worth. I don't know. Some people sell them for around $100. Some people are just trying to get rid of them and will literally give them to you for free because they don't want it to pay to recycle. This was going to have to be paid to be recycled. And I said, nah. I did some browsing around. I asked around if it would be strong enough for a little PlayStation 2 emulation, and my answer was no, but the motherboard is upgradable, and they told me to get an Optiplex, a Dell Optiplex, and then upgrade a graphics card and a processor and power supply. Be good to go. You can do all kinds of gaming on it, especially PS2. But this is what I had. I already have one of these. And there's another video of a guy online. He took 50 bucks. And he actually did modern gaming with his. This is going to be like PS2, GameCube, that lot. Now, the tools you'll need to take this apart: Phillips head screwdriver. You also might want a flathead piece to pry some parts off, but be gentle. Now, computer stores, they would charge you probably anywhere from $10 to $30 to recycle this for you. And then they take it apart and sell all these pieces individually. That's what they do to recycle. That's their version of recycling. Is charging you for your own product and then ripping it apart and selling it piece by piece like a chop shop. Straight robbery. So, all you have to do get this apart is there are screws on the back here. Let's see, here. Down here. Take those out, and then this slides off like this. You don't want to pull it off like that. You want to slide it, then pull it off. Now, where's this fell? After getting this off is the tricky part, because all of this is crammed into here. And the reason I just took it all completely out of the shell is because I would have had to take bolt cutters to this and cut this off. And there was another piece over here I would have had to cut off. And I said, just take it out of the tower completely. I'm shooting to find a $20, $30 tower that it'll all fit in. It's not a lot of stuff. So pretty much the same way you got the back off, you're just going to want to look for screws like this. Every screw like this that's not impossible to get to, unscrew. And then the parts will literally just slide out, come off, and then you can unscrew more things and everything comes off. that's the easy part. And I wasn't planning on making a video for it. I would have videotaped it. Sorry, guys. Maybe if I get an Optiplex and I take that apart, I'll show you guys. But I'll show you guys taking this part apart. Now, here's the thing. You're going to be taking this apart piece by piece as you take it out of the case. So this is more to show you how to get each plug off. Some's got locks on them. Some of them are just on really tight, and you don't want to pull them by the wire or anything. But first thing you're going to want to do is take off the heatsink, the AMA fan and heatsink. It's the biggest, easiest thing to get off. There's nothing that blocks the screws. You should be able to get it off while it's still in the computer, but I took it off after I took it out of the computer. And even if you don't plan on upgrading your computer, you're going to want to take it apart once in a while and clean it. This thing was filthy. So I'll screw right there. Woo! Don't want to scratch up wires and connections and the whatnot on the motherboard. Picking it up to make sure it's disconnected. It has a wire. Right there. You want to pull that out before you go yanking your heatsink out. And you just gently pull on it and it comes right out. Take a heatsink out and clean off. If it's 10 years old like mine is and it's never been taken apart and cleaned and re-tuned up and all that, there'll be thermal paste burnt up. Like no good no more. You're going to clean it off there and then clean it off your chip. This chip is an AMD Athlon 64X2. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to replace it with a Phenom Phenom, and it's a Phenom 64. I got the X4. I got one for $17 on eBay shipped. So you're gonna want to do is pull this little lever up gently, and it unlocks your processor. This is your CPU processor right here. Pop it out. Put it aside. You can get a few bucks for it, even if you just recycle it at the Salvation Army. You just ask them for a receipt, and then when it comes time for taxes, if you get a refund, you'll get more on your refund for whatever you gave to the Salvation Army and got a receipt for. And if you got to pay, well, then you have to pay a little less. You'll get a deduction. But after you take that off, I'll put that down. Just get it out of the way. The battery right here. Let's see if I can't get the flash to go on. Well, there's a clip right here. You gotta push it down and slide this out. It's gonna be pretty tough. I didn't put it all the way back in because I couldn't wrestle with that and hold the phone with the other hand at the same time. So you get the battery out of there. The battery's connected to a few things. The battery's connected, one, to your board here, and then to your hard drive. Now, this one to the left with the multiple wires coming out is the battery. Now, don't be afraid about forgetting what goes plugged into where, because everything only fits into one spot, except for these two plugs because they're the same exact wire, but you want like your DVD plugged into here and your hard drive plugged into here. So now we got the power off the hard drive. Now unplug the hard drive from the board. These hard drives are actually in pretty decent demand right now. This is a small one, 320 gigs. There's no USB 3.0 ports on this board. It's too old, 10 years old. I don't think they had them 10 years ago. But so you might want to upgrade this to as big a one as you can. The biggest one I found was 10 terabytes and it was going for $150. The one I'm looking at is 4 terabytes and it's $50. And that's to keep my build under $150. So now I leave the wire for the HDD attached and I detach the DVD SATA DVD rewriter. So this way I remember which one plugged into where. Yeah. I gotta put the phone down for a second, guys, but all I'm doing is pulling this wire out, and if you look, there is a little button right here. I should be able to get it out. There we go. Now you got the DVD writer disconnected from the board. Pull this plug right here out. Pin 3, and now you can slide. It slides right out of the front of the computer, which one thing I forgot to mention when you're taking the case apart, to get this off, this is easy to get off. There's you get the side off first, and then you reach in and you squeeze these pins and you pull it right off. There's those pins and these pins, and it pops right off. So this will slide right out the front after you pop the front off. Now me, I'm keeping this. This is the 16 different kind of SD card reader. So I decided to keep that on there. That's a keeper. For right now, the hard drive's a keeper. And for right now, this is probably going to be a keeper too. I do have a portable DVD CD rewriter. That's slim, but I'm going to keep that just to load Windows up on here and everything for the first time. Guarantee it'll work. Here's the on button. If you take this off, then every time you plug the board in, it'll turn on, and then you have to unplug it to turn it off, and you won't be able to shut it down. So keep this, and just a little push button. The light, you don't have to cut the wire to get it out. You got to squeeze these plastic pieces and pull it out the front. Then pull this plastic piece right off the light and pull it back out through the inside of the computer. And you can put the plastic piece right back onto it. I don't know why I kept it. I really don't care. Here, 2 USB 2.0 ports, and I forget what that plug is for. Headphone jack, I think. But the USB's plugging right here. Now this is what I'm going to see if I can get 3.0 ports and plug them into here, if the board would register them as 3.0. I don't know. It's in the progress. I'm finding that. And right here, right next to your, what is it? It's audio, video, and microphone. Right? Yeah, speakers, monitor, microphone right there. You can also use this. This is what I'll be using for the monitor. I'll be hooking it up to my TV. My HD TV's got a PC hookup. This is for the keyboard and mouse. think this is power. Should say diff out PGA. No, maybe it's not the power. I don't know. Oh no, that's right, power. Just connect it right there. So what the fuck is the orange one? I forgot. Like I said, this is my first PC build, but I wanted to show you how easy it is now. Let me show you how you get this off, but I'm not taking the chip off because I don't know how to. I never been taught how to, and I'll break it trying to do it. But what I am taking the heatsink off for is to replace the compound paste, the thermal compound paste, so the board doesn't overheat and the chip doesn't fry out. I have a feeling that's one of the reasons it was running slow and was heading for the trash, is the chips were overheating. There's little hooks you gotta just push down and move to the side. Sorry, I had to put the phone down to do this. This is just a two-handed project. There we go. And when you're doing this, you want to do adjacent corners. You don't want to do one corner, then the corner right next to it. You want to do the corner diagonal from it. And then you get it off. These little hooks, there we go. So hooked onto the little eyes. Get it off. You're going to want to wipe that shit in the middle off and put wipe this chip off, this little bit of shit on the chip. That's the compound, thermal compound paste, and just put a dab, just a little dab on that chip, and then stick this back on there. Now, I'm not putting that back on right now. Next thing you're going to want to do, you're going to want to check your RAM. Your RAM, it should tell you on the outside of your computer, like on the outside of this case right here, it says 3 gigabytes. But there's two RAM sticks in here, so which one's 2 and which one's 3, you got to find out, right? And you want to take the 1 gigabyte one and you want to replace it with a 2 gigabyte. So you literally, I'm sorry, I think, there's these little levers at the end, and you just pop them open, and then slides right out. And you look on the 1 GB. So that's the one we want to either donate for a tax write-off, a sell, or we can help out a friend who's got a slow 1 gig RAM computer, but they got 2 slots or whatever. And pop out your other one. The other one, if you got 3 gigs and you pop the first one out as 1 gig, this one's obviously 2 gigs. But if you bought it used, you want to make sure you didn't get ripped off, right? So, boom, boom, and it says 2 gigs. 2 gigs DDR2. Now these are blue DDR outlets, so they can actually run 3. The black ones run 2. I'm putting this one back in because this one's going to be used. The 1 gigabyte one is being replaced for $5 with a 2 gigabyte. You just got to gently push down on the corners until the little levers click in. Don't push on the middle. You'll get nowhere. So now, I do not have the parts in that I'm replacing stuff with yet. It's coming in the mail. But when they come in the mail, I'm going to do a step-by-step of how to piece it all back together. I'm going to show links where you can go on eBay, as well as, excuse me, got some heartburn going here, as well as some online e-stores that I can't speak for. I've just found advertisements for deals. All the parts I got came off eBay. So as a matter of fact, I'll just stick it with eBay links and not even them other guys. Not till I try them out myself and can vouch for them. But what's going on when the parts come back in is the graphics card is going right here. I'm probably down the road going to get a Wi-Fi card right there. Processor, the AMD Phenom 264 or Phenom 64 X2, whatever it's called, right here. New power supply is going to plug in right here, and it's going to plug into the back right there to the left of the red cord of the DVD player, and it's going to plug into the back of the internal hard drive. I am replacing them in the 90 watt power supply with 680 watt power supply I got used for $30. So far, because I haven't gotten a new hard drive yet, but definitely planning to. It's in the build, it's just not in the budget. Spent $65 if you don't count the cost of the computer, which the computer came with a lot of stuff that's not going to be used now. This is just the tower I'm using. The tower alone is a lot cheaper than buying a whole desktop set. Now this is all going to be set up. I might not even have a tower when I do the build video for this, but we're going to plug it right into the back of that TV. We're going to run, well actually, yeah, we'll plug it into the back of the TV and turn it on and see if Windows is still working on it or not, and hop on to RetroArch and see if we can figure out, or if I can figure out while y'all watch, how to emulate some what is that, 4th gen games? I'm not sure which generation it is. They're all retro to me. If it's not PS3 up, it's retro to me, you know what I'm saying? I will see you guys. My parts are getting mailed Tuesday because of Labor Day weekend. So probably a week from Tuesday, maybe even just a few days, I will have the assembly video up. And then I might just do the programming video live, but it might be a disappointment because this computer hooked up to the monitor it came with, it was just a blank screen the last time I tried to use it, but it'll be a whole new processor in here and everything. We'll see what goes down. Stay tuned.